thugging, not for nothing, never catch me slipping. Pull up in spots, we got the drop, they never paid attention. Know about the pissing, dirty project calls, conscious missing. Got people jumping on my line like I was going fishing. Bow to my sires. Past life flash right by us. Spike your food so you can't digest. I can't digress. Shining on vampires who can't process. The moon over campfires. We on the move, breaking rules, no they can't tie us. Can't buy us. Manila envelope deniers. Control times, haters still clocking. Got dirty Moors trying to resurrect the chauffeur, the real prophet. They trying to get the profit like a dollar sign in brackets. Game of tennis, nigga, I'm just here to make the racket. These crooked governments got royalties and cuffs, and all we got is nationality, like art inside a gallery. So pardon my mentality. Bloodline stretching like an empire that's all the way from Barbary to Tartary. My mind's ecclesiastic, prophets show me proofs inside the circle 7. Asiatic, we not Negro, black or colored. Bone thugging, not for nothing, never catch me slipping. Pull up in spots, we got the drop, they never paid attention. Know about the pissing, dirty project calls, conscious missing. Got people jumping on my line like I was going fishing. Back on my mission, packed up all my ammunition. Backed up all this competition, they don't got this kind of vision, no. These are the new days of our lives. While my Tommy ticking, copy by the minute. Got these chakras spinning.
7 in the quadrants, 3 between the compass squared. Samson between Boaz and Yoakum. Never scared, ships arrive in thousands. We are not alone the way some think. I think they are not us but clones. Looking up drones, staring back. Got track 5G phones, implants, check their heads and their backs. Adam's apple big, what kind of female is that? Eyes color change like a chameleon, plus underwave tracks. Wires sticking out, cyborg holes, Miss Frankenstein. No protection needed, self-lubricating vagina. So anthropomorphic, then go for more dick than he can give it. An android goes livid. Skynet is NSA, surveillance is global. Since refusal to be noble, force creed is Constantinople. Force GMO, nanotech, air clouds. Sound weapons, heart attack guns for non-social distance crowds.
Bone thugging, not for nothing, never catch me slipping. Pull up in spots, we got the drop, they never paid attention. Know about the pissing, dirty project calls, conscious missing. Got people jumping on my line like I was going fishing. Back on my mission, packed up all my ammunition. Backed up all this competition, they don't got this kind of vision, no. These are the new days of our lives. While my Tommy ticking, copy by the minute. Got these chakras spinning.
This is what you need to know. Stuff you need to know, fellas, ladies. Stuff you need to know.
Common sense was made before book sense. Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Quick.
Legendary, bury me in the North Gates Cemetery, February the 4th days. Son of Mary, day ahead of my born day. Independence and law makes it a little of a lost case. With case laws, we break them down like Jericho. Keeping all my lions tamed, I'm Chris Jericho. Or keep a mask on deck, I'm Rey Mysterio. Fake pandemics announced over the radio. Annoyed with the game, the joys and the pains. I rob bass, mix it with rock the hard way. I was in a lost state. Prophets stood me up right, brought me to a lost gate. Cooking like I'm Saute, rapping like I'm Denzel. Malcolm X, Deja Vu, Roman J. Israel. Had no door, I lay in plain sight. But people still can't see it, so the snake's still showing up. Stakes still high, so the race still going up. Warriors of the North Gate, we not slowing up. Born in the manger, sworn to be savior. Walk through the valley of the shadows of the death dip in slavery. Looking for life, the book of Genesis. Astro plane entrances, invoke the nemesis. Abstract images of past lives kicking in. Danger, running for your life. Finish him.
Morris Omar, key man or oracle. Using Trinity powers, decipher allegorical. Lost in metaphorical, holy books are metaphysic. Fact slap a dirty more or a Drew Ali critic. Calling him Thomas or Walter and get your face caved. Or cut like a close shave. Drowned in my brainwaves, squashed by heat waves. Activating Kundalini. Abyssinia invaded by Mussolini. Selassie I in exile. Reptile in Genesis. Negus appearing real. All I see is false evidence. VAR feminists stomped on by elephants. Won't like what prejudice but want Moorish benefits. When you feel the pull magnetic resonance. resonance. Apis horns of the sacred book, all maleficent. Great cosmic mothers, return to blessedness, no pestilence. Ace all the testaments, tap into remembrance, never to forget again. Use energy right, not put spell effects on men. Wandering the earth plane with no they live shades. Keeps you a mental slave as the horizon fades. It's been decades since Christian crusades. Not enough rebellions, too many vigil bouquets. Holding on to the fence, burning on doomsday. War ruled by Mars, it might be on a Tuesday.
Canaanland Moors presents Common Sense Quick. What we do here is we add some common sense thinking to everyday situations or comments that may arise. Want to give it a try?
Peace, Moors. Islam. We address some of our online people playing this try to debunk the Moors or something. I don't know what's with the blur. There's gonna be nothing to read, just listening. If you got any questions, throw it in the chat.
Now this is number 34, taken out of the Circle 7 Quran. It states, the Moorish Science Temple of America. We of the Moorish Science Temple of America, like countless other American citizens, know that we must live together here in America in harmony, friendship, and goodwill, whatever our race and creed may be. Now let's look at it. American citizen. Okay. So right off the bat, he is proclaiming that he is an American citizen. Okay. So remember that. Here is this is number 2. Prophet Drew Ali speaks to the nation.
This is Autochthonous America guy. This is Autochthonous America guy. Now, the first reading, the Moorish Science Temple of America, he read four lines, right? We want to just make sure that we're clear with people when it comes to Moors and Moorish Science Temple and who are the Moors and all these things that people have problems with, because they always take the perspective of people who came later, people who came speaking about Moors, Moorish Science Temple, Moorish Empire, Noble Drew Ali, Islam. They're speaking from a perspective that they don't even know what they're talking about, because they're not in this. So since we're in this, we're going to go to number 34 and let's hear everything that Noble Drew Ali had to say, so this could be in its proper context, so you don't get played out of your birthright by people who look like you, who Noble Drew Ali warned you are going to put you back in slavery. How are they going to do that? By keeping you a mental slave. Forget chains and whatever. The Moorish Science Temple of America, number 34. The Moorish Science Temple of America was founded by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Aside from the fact that it is a legally organized religious corporation, it is building on human needs. To this desirable end, in the legitimate means will be found to dispense charity and provide the mutual assistance for its members in times of distress. to aid in the improvement of health, and to encourage the ownership of better homes, to find employment for our members, to teach those fundamental principles which are desired for our civilization, such as obedience to law, respect and loyalty to government, tolerance and unity. You hear anything about religion in there? Anything? Nothing about religion, right? So people who go from some perspective that when you hear Moors, your mind automatically goes to Islam and Salat and speak Arabic and all that stuff, you don't even know what you're thinking about, much less talking about. So when it comes to Moors, don't talk, because you don't know what you're talking about if you're not part of this. If you're not part of this, they shouldn't be making any reference whatsoever to Moors or teaching people about Moors or anything like that if you're not claiming to be a Moor. It is most earnestly hoped that the Moorish Science Temple of America will not in any way be confused with any Back to Africa movement. Why? Because we're Aboriginal and Indigenous. Why would we be concerned with any Back to Africa or whatever? The only reason we're not concerned with Back to Africa, obviously because we're not from there. So why are we even talking about that? That's why the next line, such is not important insofar as American citizens of our group colonizing Africa are concerned. So anybody who's claiming Back to Africa, they're actually a colonizer. Because you have a vast estate right here that's under occupation by foreign people. And the only reason they're able to occupy is because our people want to be Negro black colored, which gives up the jurisdiction to these people that are occupying. So to eliminate the jurisdiction, because the people who are occupying here only have jurisdiction over Negro, black, colored people. They don't have jurisdiction over anybody else. Anybody who says Back to Africa, Europeans got jurisdiction over you. That's just what it is. Nothing to debate. That's what it is. Now, why wouldn't the Aboriginal, Indigenous, autochthonous people, when they reference Noble Drew Ali number 34 article about the Moorish Science Temple of America, why weren't they tell you the part about not to confuse this with any Back to Africa movement? If Noble Drew Ali said don't confuse this with any Back to Africa movement, that also means that you can't claim Moors are from Africa. If Noble Drew Ali said don't compare this to any Back to Africa movement, that also means that people who look at Moors and then say North Africa and they look across the Atlantic Ocean, you're in error. That's Back to Africa mindset. And then if Noble Drew Ali said that in Mecca during his time they dug into the ground and they're pulling out stuff with Egyptian writing on it, where's Africa? And because our people don't have Moorish science and Moorish history, they've been played. And they're going to go to the grave thinking that they're Negro black colored and that Africa's over there only. Even though they find stuff in the Grand Canyon here that they have to throw stuff in the Atlantic Ocean, they found so much Egyptian stuff over here. Why would they find Egyptian stuff over here if over here is not Africa? Why would they find chunks of Africa under the whole seaboard? Under the whole eastern seaboard, They have chunks of Africa under America. Lets you know that it was all one place. It's all one place. So, reference point 1, when you hear these people talk about the Moorish Science Temple of America and then they talk about number 34, which means they have the literature, because you wouldn't know it's number 34 unless you have the book. It's not going to say 34 online. That's only in the book. That's only in the book. So they have the literature. And they left out the part that this is not a Back to Africa movement. If this is not a Back to Africa movement, then what is it? Aboriginal and Indigenous movement. That's why he said American citizen, because American is not a European. An American is the copper-colored natives who were found on the American continent before the European even got over here. Those are the Americans. Those are the only Americans. The only Americans are the dark-skinned people that were here before Europeans. Those are the Americans. So when Noble Drew says American citizen, he's not talking about U.S. Right? So don't ever be fooled. Don't ever be fooled. The Back to Africa movement is not us. This is Aboriginal and Indigenous. And our tribe is not called Moors. Right? And they know. Keep in mind, they know. They just want to play their little game with you. Right. It is most earnestly hoped that the Moorish Science Temple of America will not in any way be confused with any Back to Africa movement. Real simple. And what of the Africans in Africa? You think they don't know that that we're Moors? How about this story? How about this one? A Moor near Hawaii saw a license plate that said Moor on it. M-O-O-R. Just seen a license plate one day. Moor on a license plate? What the hell's going on or whatever? Who's this Moor? So after some time or whatever, saw the license plate again and ran the car down. Got to speak with the individual behind the wheel. The guy from behind the wheel wasn't even from over here. He was from the continent of Africa. And he had a license plate that said Moor. And he's telling the Moor, yeah, we're all Moors. The African guy. So if the guy from the continent of Africa, oh no, not even no law enforcement involved in any of this. This is just a Moor that was on his Moorish science, on his knowing himself, and he saw a license plate randomly, just walking on the street one day, just saw a license plate randomly. And the license plate said M-O-O-R. And in his mind, that guy must be a Moor. But damn, got an opportunity to see it again. Got an opportunity to the point where since that time, he was looking for it. Looking. Now, when he did find it, the dude was from the continent of Africa, and his license plate said Moor. What does that tell you about those in Africa and all that? What does that tell you? You're not going to use that as a reference point? What are you going to say? He wasn't from here. He had whatever state license plate, Hawaii plate or whatever, but it said Moor. That's what he had on his license plate. Okay, so if he knows of the history, then what's wrong with our people in North America who want to always debate Moors that we're this and we're that and we're not this and we're not that? Right? Like, phone doesn't do this zoom in, zoom out stuff like this. That stuff's not supposed to be blurry and all that. You go watch all these people talking BS, how smooth their streams are and all that. You got no glitching, nobody have to reset their phone and none of that. Right? Why wouldn't they stand for what we stand for? We have a nationality just like them. Okay, another story. There's a Moor that we know that travels everywhere. He went to the continent of Africa. Right? He went to the continent of Africa. While he's in the continent of Africa, he's wearing his fez all the time. Right? He doesn't know what language they're speaking. No, I mean, he doesn't speak, he knows what language they speak. He doesn't speak their language. Right? But when he goes places, he knows they're talking about him. He knows this. So the Moor was with somebody from that country in Africa. You know what the translation was, what they were talking about? Is he a prince? What prince is that? Come to find out that the fez in that country of Africa is so prestigious that the common people can't even wear it as if it's their stuff. Only the elite people wear it. The fez is so prestigious that anytime anyone's seen somebody wearing that, automatically in their mind, that person is some type of royalty. Because nobody else wears a fez. Only the dignified and the most righteous and the people proclaimed title guy are the only ones that wear the fez. Commoners, they're not even looking at the fez to be they're not even worthy to wear the fez. That's not here. That's continent of Africa. So if the people over there are that in to the point where anytime they see a fez, they see that as royalty and prestigious, then why are the people over here telling us when they see us in a fez that we're Muslims or we're Masons or we came from some Turkish thing and they gave this to us? So how come the people over there aren't talking like that? There must be somebody's misinformed, and I don't think it's the people with the nationality. I think the people that's misinformed are the people who call themselves continents and people who call themselves adjectives. You know, people who call themselves transitive verbs, and they want to pretend as if they have some authority. So this is not a Back to Africa movement. We're not African. Oh yeah, our ancestors are African, for sure. There's no denial in that. But we ask the question again, where's Africa if they found chunks of Africa under the eastern seaboard? They found chunks of Africa in the eastern seaboard, then it probably means over here is Africa. If they found Egyptian stuff over here, it probably means over here was Africa. If Tahuti had colonies in Atlantis, I'm pretty sure over here is Africa. Like, why wouldn't over here be Africa too? Nothing else makes sense. And as soon as you start thinking like that, people want to tell you that you know what you're talking about. And they're going to make their little videos trying to convince you that your Moorish science isn't on point or whatever. Noble Drew Ali didn't know what he was talking about when he knew exactly what he was talking about. And to put it on the record again, Noble Drew Ali's Cherokee. And he never said I'm Cherokee in any of his literature. Why? Because it's under the Bureau of Indian Affairs. It's some BS. You can't be a tribe and claim nationhood. You can't be a language and claim nationhood. You can't be an adjective. You can't be a continent and claim nationhood. The world just does not work like that. It's nothing personal. Nobody's being racist and all that stuff. You don't got to start making excuses and playing the victim stuff. That's just what it is. So when people are talking and you're trying to learn and they keep talking about Moors in some negative perspective, always, that's all they talk about, Moors in a negative. They never tell you about the good that the Moors do. No, these people are sellouts. Because when you go talk to some Europeans, they're going to tell you, oh, we wish the Moors were back. Life was so good under the Moors. And then your dumb nigger leaders are going to try to convince you that, well, because Europeans are in favor of the Moors, then Europeans sanction the Moors. The hell are you talking about? Everybody knows the Moors gave Europe everything that they got right now. Their debt to the Moors is incalculable. They can't put numbers to the debt they owe Moors. They put the world in this madness that it's in right now because they didn't want to live under the Moors. All right, then suffer. Don't get mad. Eat your roast cereal. Don't get mad. It's not racism. So you want to be adjective. You want to live in an adjective community, and you want to pretend like you're everything else, but you're not Moors because the Moors enslaved somebody. All right. Don't forget, put your questions in all caps because I don't want to be hunting through these damn things looking for questions. But I get you. I don't personally know the Moorish history to the T, so how would I know if life was better under Moorish rule? Right now you're under democracy, and democracy has dropped bombs on every country around here. So obviously we shouldn't be living under that, but ain't nobody complaining. They're still going and voting for the democratic people. Constitution says republic, but they're not even concerned about that. They're gonna go with the democracy because, you know. And then we're getting questioned about our stuff that we're presenting. No, it doesn't really go like that. What it goes by is history. And for 700 years, the Moors ruled the world. For 700 years. Nobody couldn't put a boat in the water without the Moors checking them. Let me see your papers. Nobody. European, other Asiatics, because Islam was ruling. For 700 years, Islam ruled. Now, even though they're getting their boats kidnapped and stuff like that, this is the first time they're drinking wine. This is the first time that they're smelling flowers. This is the first time that they got air conditioning. And they got a pool. They could go dive in the pool. And you got people walking around with tigers on chains and all this type of stuff. And you're talking about, how do we know? You know how long 800 years is? For one people to be ruling the world? Everything going through them, all the trade stuff going through them, because they're the only ones who had the boats to do the long distance sailing. There's nobody else in their league during their reign. And if you go speak with Europeans who are sincere, those Europeans will tell you that when the Moors ruled, there was nothing but peace. Why? Because Islam means peace. That's just what it is. It is known. It is known that there's more positive that came out of Moorish history than negative. This is known. But for some reason, the Negro, black, colored, African, Pan-African, whatever community is trying to convince people that the negative is more. But that's because that's all they focus on. They don't focus on the positive. Why? Because they're black. Why would they focus on positive stuff? If their name alone means everything negative, why would they look at positive things? Only in North America though. Go everywhere else around the world. Talk to anybody. Go to the 7-Eleven, Quickie Mart or whatever. Go ask those people if they know. All you sisters, try this. If you don't know about yourself, all you sisters, try this. Find one of the little Hindu stores, whatever it is, supermarket, whatever. And one day, just go in there with a dot on your forehead and see how they look at you. Just take some powder, lotion, whatever. Put a dot on your forehead and go walk by some Hindus and see how they look at you. Cut a little cloth like a yarmulke and go walk around the Jewish community with that on. Just walk through. See what happens. See how they deal with you. Because once we know ourselves, we're not going to have issues with anybody else. Because everybody knows who we are. We don't know who we are. So we end up playing games every day, all day. Playing ourselves. Because of what some Negro leader convinced us is how it is. And then we never went and fact checked. We just said, oh yeah, Negro leader guy. There's a Negro leader guy, so we're going to listen to what they're saying because they're... And that's what Moors are about, fact checking. Check your stuff. Anything. All the stuff that's posted, all the videos, fact check it all. Not gonna find any discrepancies like that. Because truth is, you ain't gonna do anything to truth. You play all these little games that you want to. But truth stands on its own.
The Negro problem is being solved only as it can. and that is by the Moorish National Divine Movement. If you have a nation, you must have a free national name in order to be recognized by this nation as an American citizen. So again, he is claiming to be and claiming that so-called blacks in America and African Americans are Moorish Americans from Morocco, but they are also American citizens.
Right? Now, let's just say, for argument's sake, let's just throw this in the air. Let's just say the word America comes from Morocco, not Amerigo Vespucci. Let's just say, just like we believe that some European is what America is named after. Okay, let's just believe that America really means Morocco. And just like they have scientific racism, they have linguistic racism, where they keep your stuff away from you. And they change how they spell things, and you know, there has 500 different meanings and applications when it's not supposed to be that serious. Somebody's playing games. An American citizen is a Moroccan citizen. You can only be Moroccan if you're in Morocco. And this is not a Back to Africa movement. Now again, they like to nit and pick, but they have the literature, because number 2, Prophet Drew Ali speaks to the nations. If you have race pride and love your race, join the Moorish Science Temple of America and become part of this divine movement. Then you will have the power to redeem your race, because you will know who you are and your forefathers were. Because where there is unity, there is strength. Together we stand, divided we fall. Come, good people, because I, the prophet, sent to redeem this nation from mental slavery, which you have now. Neither one of you who think your condition can be better. This is a field open to strong men and women, not weaklings, strong men and women, to uplift the nation and take your place amongst the affairs of men, which includes women. If the Europeans and other nations are helping me, why not you? It is your problem. The Negro problem is being solved only as it can, and that is by the Moorish National Divine Movement. If you have a nation, you must have a free national name in order to be recognized by this nation as an American citizen. This is what is meant when it said, "Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and all these things will be added unto you." So to solve the Negro problem, the Negro has to be part of a nation. In order to be part of a nation, you have to have a free national name. In order to prove your free national name, you better have some Moorish nationality card or papers or something like that. Don't think you'll be talking to these colonists out your mouth and not give them anything without them yielding. You better have something to show these vampires that your neck is not open for sucking, because they will suck you. And then they're going to send their little agents who look like you to come suck you too. And when you suggest getting a Moorish nationality card, you better know that individual who you're getting that card from personally. Those people put some hexes on you or whatever like that, have you thinking about be a Moor is being part of their club or something like that. They didn't give you anything. They just sold you into slavery. So we suggest that people take a year, 2 years, go study, find out what this is about for real, And then start thinking about cards and all that stuff. You're talking about you just fell into this 2 months ago and you're talking about get a card, you better sit your ass down somewhere and go study. Because somebody's going to play you for $5,000 for a card. And then you're going to be coming to us asking about how do you fix this problem and all this, when you shouldn't even been getting any cards, papers, or doing any of that in the first place. You should have been studying. Because this is about get your mind right. This is about free you from mental slavery. Come, good people, because I, the prophet, sent to redeem this nation from mental slavery. Everybody wants to be free every other way, don't they? When it comes to mental slavery, they don't even talk about it. And then you're going to have people like Charlemagne come out, talk crazy about Dr. Francis Cress Welsing. Then the Negroes, they didn't even do nothing about it. But they honor her though. They honor her though. But they ain't say nothing to Charlemagne. That's their boy. They want to see his Breakfast Club interview. Disrespecting the mother. Reading from the Moorish literature. Moorish Science Temple of America, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, founder. Right. And then if you are going to study, if you're going to say, yeah, okay, fine, I'm gonna, you know, just like anything else, I'm going to dedicate some time to this to see what this is about for real. I'm going to dedicate a year. I'm going to dedicate 2 years. I'm going to dedicate 5 years to studying this stuff for real. All right. We would suggest that one of the first places you go to is rvbaypublications.com and print out stuff and highlight stuff and have a journal and have a book for when you wake up in the night. It's right by the bed, so you can write down all the stuff that's going to be flooding you because you're going to be studying, and you're going to realize this is way bigger than some cards and some papers. And then after a year, 2 years, then you see where you're at. If you're that serious, we say go to rvbaypublications.com. Start there. You don't got to buy anything. You can go on that site and just click stuff that's free and be on there for 2 years without buying a book from that site. Right? So we want to make sure that people are clear. If you're dealing with Moors, when you say Moors, once we say Moors, know that comes with something. That's not just limited to some guy said something about it or whatever like that. If he's going to tell you number 2 and read a portion of what Noble Drew Ali said and not read it in its entirety, they're playing you. Because it should be read in its entirety, not cut up in pieces to try to prove some point.
Islam. Man, I was listening to everything you were saying about the mental slavery and all of that, the nationhood, and it just had me grab this book real quick to go over what you were saying about what nation do we belong to and stuff like that. So if there's a bunch of Moors on here that's confused on nation, all right. So I'm in the book of Round Table, all right. So it breaks down the nations. So let's say, you know, a Frenchman or a man that's from France, his law resides in French law. Same goes for those who descend from Irish. Their law is from Ireland. Same for Kenya or so-called Africans, which are really Asiatics by the very definition of it. Kenya, Kenyan law. German law. Chinese law. Arabians, Saudi Arabian law. Englishmen, their law resides in England, in English law. Russian resides in Russian law. But the sovereign power of a Moor rightfully resides only in America and is expressed through Moorish law through the written constitution of the Al-Moroccans. So that's when we as Moors, when we talk about the nation, we explain what nation you belong to, because America is broken up into many nations. That's why it says out of many nations, one. So we as Moors have to come together as one in order to be able to have jurisdiction of our lands. At this moment, we as Moors have no unity. And I'm speaking from facts, like we have no unity. We can sit here and point fingers at someone in some other race for our demise when we can't even look in the mirror and figure out like, damn, it's all us. We are the ones who remain ignorant because we don't want to pick up a book and read or study. That's why we remain ignorant and stagnant. I'm going to be active, you know, so I read, I write, I do everything, you know, so when it comes to knowing who I am, I can honestly say I know who I am just from studying and listening to you and all the other Moors who are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. So the first thing I did when I started studying was the first part of history that we're taught in school is Thanksgiving. That is the most historical holiday in America. Why? Because that day was the day that we failed. All right? It's for some reason, it's like two different stories going on. You got Christopher Columbus in the South, and you got Plymouth Rock in the North. Now, as Moors, we have to figure out which one of these stories is true. Either we were here when the Europeans arrived, or we was brought over here as slaves. So which ones is it? Because we cannot keep playing both victims.
Exactly.
Now, when I say we was here before they arrived, we was here. That's it. I don't go into Christopher Columbus and his so-called discovery of America because all that shit is bullshit. Excuse me for my language, you know, but it's the facts. And we as Moors, regardless if you call yourself a Moor or not, we have to be on the same accord. If I say this is Morocco, my brother from Canaanland Moor say this is Morocco, and you say this is Africa, I want you to show me the proof that, I want you to show me the proof that this isn't Morocco, is what I would say to other Moors. Well, this is in Africa. Show me proof that this is in Africa. The prophet told us that what we know as Africa today in contemporary times is actually called Asia South. And what we know as Asia South and Asia North was Asia Major. So if Asia Major consists of the continents on the eastern hemisphere, where's Asia Minor? So that got me to thinking, well, if this is Asia, then this must be Asia. But if they came from here, from Asia, and landed here, then this would be Africa. And I was not taken from this continent. So that would mean somebody is lying.
Just love.
And this is just from studying. I won't speak. I won't get on any videos unless I know what I'm talking about.
Exactly.
Other than that, I will sit back and I will watch the video all day and go look at what you looked up. I will go look up what you know because I want to be on the same accord and the same page as you. And I'm not speaking from an envious or a jealousy standpoint. I'm speaking from a student standpoint because I have to be a student first in order to be a teacher. And just from what I've learned from the history books, and I got all this information from parts of it from the educational system in their history books. They tell you everything, regardless if you think they lying or not. They will tell you everything. What they did when Columbus came over here, what they did with Plymouth Rock, they will tell you what they did. But for some reason, we think it didn't happen to us. We think we came over as slaves. How?
And if you think that we're from here, we're saying that we're part of some tribe, not the empire that's here.
when we speak on we're from here, we speak of the whole entire 3 continents: Canada, United States, Central America, South America. We speak of all of it. And when we say tribe, a tribe has to belong to a nation. I mean, that's how it is. Like when we speak of nation, no, Prophet Drew Ali, when he spoke of nationality, he said there's two things that deals with nationality: domicile and political status. Domicile will be the place that you are currently at. Domicile, Oklahoma, Texas, California, wherever you was born. That is your domicile. But the political status, that has to be corrected. We are Moors by political status and consanguinity. If you don't know what consanguinity means, that's blood ties. So even if people want to argue, well, I'm not Moor, that's from Africa or whatnot. But if you keep looking at the definitions and cross-reference them with other dictionaries, it'll tell you that it was previously called Blackamoor, then changed to Moor, then changed to Black Negro. So what part of that in the dictionary do you not understand, that we went from Moors and Blackamoors all the way to Black and Negro? So somebody lying. It can't be you. As the student, it cannot be you. Because if we're asking all the right questions, we as Moors cannot be liars. If we say, well, if Christopher Columbus say he discovered America, why does it in his journal say that he thought Cuba was Japan and he thought mainland United States was China? That means that he was stupid. And then he said when he got over here, he found copper-colored beings already here. In his journal, it said he found a mosque on top of Cuba, on a mountain in Cuba. What does that say? That say we was here. How does a man go from saying that he found a mosque on top of a mountain in Cuba to saying that he found us a slave? Slaves can't build. Slaves can't read. Go ahead, brother.
How could they say that he was lost when they say he had a Moorish captain on the ship and all that type of stuff? Moors know where they're going.
They do.
Somebody's lying. How is he gonna have
somebody is lying
in China? How you have Moors with you and think you're in India? You're in China. You think you're
right.
When you have Moors with you, no way you're getting lost if you have Moors with you. There's no way you're getting lost if you have Moors with you. So the whole Christopher Columbus log and
never happened
is not relative to what they tell you what went down. Because like you're saying, if we found moss here, then obviously there was no Indians here like that.
Nope. Not at all.
There was no Tonto and all that stuff here.
Nope. So I have this book. I don't know if you read it before, but this is but he didn't. He didn't go left from the Canary Islands down the coast. He went straight, because this is when he got lost. Right here. And this is facts. This is where he got lost, because he was supposed to take a left at the Canary Islands. And that's written in his journals, because we were taking him to India. But somewhere along this trip right here, he killed off the Moors. And he went to El Salvador. Come on now, this is in his journals. He says this. He killed the Moors and then took them into El Salvador, Cuba, and all of that. And this is facts. And this right here, so if you have the Inter Divina Catera, this right here breaks that down, right? So in the Inter Divina Catera, right, I want you to look at the date on this. The date says May 4th, 1493. Then this is the dividing of the world right here. What does that say? By Pope, May 1493, when they divided the world east and west. They called the Moors, they changed the Moors from Moors to Spanish. So what does this treaty say? June 1492, what does it say on the left? The Moorish Empire, Spain. So when we as Moors say we are home, we literally mean we are home. This is our land. This is coming straight from Christopher Columbus, the Pope. Come on now. They're not gonna tell you the truth. They're gonna put it in books because what do they say? Negroes don't read.
Read. Who doesn't read? Who doesn't read?
Huh?
And who doesn't read? And who did Noble Drew Ali tell us that we're not?
The old saying says, if you want to hide anything from a Negro, put it in a book.
And then Noble Drew Ali said we're not Negro, black, colored.
Exactly. So we as Moors have to be doing our due diligence. We have to study, study, study. And we finish studying, we go and study ourselves. That means meditate. That means look within self to find out who you are. Everybody reads Noble Drew Ali, all his works, but they don't look within themselves.
Yeah.
You have to look within self. Brother from Canaanland Moore said, first seek ye the kingdom, and everything else will be added onto you. Where's the kingdom? Inside of you. So if you know who you are, and we know who we are, we know where we at. We are here. We've been here, but we are here. That's why we say a Mexum. A Mexum is Mexico. You know what I'm saying? It's a reason why everything is Mexico. They got a Mexico, then they have a New Mexico. All of this is all ours. This is all a Mexum. Spanish. Why do you think the prophet said learn Spanish? He wasn't saying that for his benefit. He said learn Spanish because Spanish is a universal language. If you know Spanish here, I'm telling you, you're going to know Arabic here. If you know Arabic here, you're going to know Spanish here because it's the same language.
Yeah.
And that's all I just wanted to add, brother. You know, as Moors, we have to look within ourselves. So for the 29 people here, you have to look within self. You have to figure out who you are. You know, you have to figure out if you were the mental slave or if you was the one that got conquered. There's a difference. Are you the mental slave or are you the one that got conquered? And we never got conquered. We got occupied. We did not get conquered. We got occupied.
And
Europeans didn't.
And for Chris in the chat, you see how you're having all these revelations from this chat? This is what studying is supposed to be about. Right?